Hi, thanks for coming to Nvoke. Today we had a hard drive crash, so we had to change up the show a little bit. We added a new section called entertainment for this show, so we're going to proceed forward with that. Our subject matter was homophobia, and so we had to change that up a little bit because the sound's not working so well, and once again, like I said, our hard drive crashed. So, this week, we will be talking about homophobia. We will be showing you an entertainment section. And more importantly, we want you back next week, so subscribe, make sure you like us, and tell your friends. See you next week, and enjoy our show. We have a special guest, which is actually Cole's wife. She met her at one of our first shows, and she's here today because Cole's a little under weather, and she'll be back with us next week. So we're going to discuss homophobia perspective. So what we're going to do today is we're going to handle it a little bit differently. We're actually going to handle it in 3 categories like I always do. And we do family, societal, and internal homophobia. Just with family. And can you give me...
I'd love to take that. I am so blessed in that when I came out to my family, there was really no issue. I have a feeling that maybe there was a little bit of chatter or discussion, but anybody who was experiencing that kept it to themselves and only showed me love and support. But I also acknowledge that that is not necessarily the norm in our community.
For sure.
Hopefully, I think I'm younger than you both, hopefully it's becoming the norm as the decades pass. I think it is.
Right.
More and more families, what is it, 1 in 10, 1 in 8, every family's got a few.
Everybody's got at least one of those.
Right, and so it's an issue that everybody's having to face. And hopefully, much like society is moving into that greater level of creating place for all of us. I think families are doing that as well.
Oh, great. And also, internal. What do you think about internal?
Oh, my mom is like amazing, and she never even gave us the opportunity to doubt ourselves.
Oh, wow.
Exactly who we were is exactly who we were supposed to be. So that's not a battle I had to fake.
So did you come out as a young person?
I was in college.
Oh, very cool. Mm-hmm. So as we had this discussion, we also wanted to take a section each. So that's really good to hear that you have very family, strong support. Also, so let's talk about societal and homophobia.
Okay, well, I think homophobia is such an important discussion that has to be had because it involves everybody, and gay or straight. I think there's so much to learn about how society uses it as a control mechanism, whether we know it or not. I mean, a lot of our perceptions are set in place by what society has told us is right or wrong, good or bad, and I think it's up to us. We are society after all. It's up to us to change the perceptions and to help people rethink what they believe is true.
I came out to family when I was in college, so it was very difficult for me to accept what was going on. I was in sport, I was an athlete, so I was competitive, so I had to worry about that as well. So there was a lot of internal struggles I had. And it wasn't until I got into my 30s when I was doing a gay coming out group in Salt Lake City, Utah, of all things, that I started understanding myself a little bit better. But it really wasn't that time. It was actually until the director at the time sat me down and she says to me, Mike, if you do the coming out group, you have to do transgender. You have to do lesbians. You have to do every color that we have here today. And I looked at her and I'm like, oh, really? You know, I'm like, how am I going to do that? I don't know what it is to be a cross-gender. I don't know what it's like to be a transgender. I don't know what it's like to be a lesbian. And so it actually took me to actually get myself out of my element, get away from what internally struggles I was having to be able to talk to people within the group. And honestly, I have to tell you, it was the most fabulous 2 years I ever had. Because I actually talked to a lot of people about a lot of issues, and every time I had to pull into my strength, and I had to pull into my history, about my family history. Well, I hope you liked our discussion about homophobia. Homophobia is very common to many, many people who are coming out or transgendered or bisexual. So it's something very common that we deal with, and we have to learn how to have
life skills regarding that subject matter. Straight people also have to understand how we deal with them and how they deal with us. So it was a great discussion by both hosts. Now, as I promised, we actually decided to go out and look on the internet and find things that we found were entertaining and fun to watch. So we wanted to share that with you. So that's our next piece. It's called Entertainment. So let's check it out.
Every day feels a little closer to where it is that you're waiting for. Giving to a hope of so much more. For every time you fall apart, there'll be a soul to guide your journey. But if you choose to turn away, there in the mirror you'll see my face. See my anytime you've been close to breaking, give it up and let it go. Something inside says it's not over. For every time you fall apart, there'll be a soul to guide your journey. But if you choose to turn away, there in the mirror you'll see my when the world crowds your space, when we're big to no time silent, no one to go to lovers to stay, just a sense of knowing you see my face. You see
We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. We jumped, never asking why. We kissed, I fell under your spell of love. No one could deny. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I can't live a lie, running for my life. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break your walls. All you ever did was wreck me. I came in like a wrecking ball. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break you off. All you ever did was wreck me. I came in like a wrecking ball. Yeah, I just closed my eyes and swore. Let me crashing in a blazing fall. All you ever did was wreck me. Yeah, you wrecked me. Yeah, you wrecked me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. So I want to thank you for joining us for our first installment of entertainment. It was pretty fun. And next week we'll get back to our regular show. We'll have our debate, our discussion. And remember, Nvoke is a show about loving, doing, and making things happen. We present artists that do just that. The two artists you saw today, the first one danced like crazy, was a young man. The second one invoked an audience to laugh on chat roulette, and it was a pretty fun experience. Have a great day. Invoke your thoughts and ideas, and next week we have an exciting show for you. And till then, invoke on, my friend.